In today's news, HLSCC and NCUK partner on the water with CAT's BVI rowing camp. OECS statement has been posted on the POST-COI BVI. And of course, BVI team received a warm welcome as they return home.
When you're in need of air conditioning, installation, repairs, or replacement services, Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration has the professional technicians, equipment, parts, and ACs to get the job done right. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration carries top brands like Daikin, Aircon, Mitsubishi, and more. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located in Fish Bay. Telephone 340-4114 or 343-9511. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration, providing exceptional services to the British Virgin Islands since 2015.
So tonight, I am an international musician and also a bandman. Let's go behind the scenes. This is how I live my life. Unlimited with CCT.
Hello everyone, it is Friday, July 21st, 2023. Welcome to this edition of 284 News. I'm Ron Grant, bringing you the very latest out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. Happy Friday to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining us. Beginning our newscast on the local scene, Bishop John Klein has publicly taken an issue with the decision of the Virgin Islands Festival and Fairs Committee to include dancehall artist Byron Messiah as a headline performer for this year's Emancipation Festival Village. In a recent Facebook Live, Klein spoke of his concerns surrounding the straying of the Emancipation Festival from what he calls to be tradition. As he proceeded, he took specific issue with the selection of Byron Messiah among this year's lineup. Take a look.
But a particular artist gives me great concern. And that is an artist by the name of Byron Messiah. Now, I have spoken to the organizers of the festival and those responsible for booking these artists.
Klein expanded by pointing out that many in the public and urging them rather to take a look at the music video for the artist's popular track Taliban's. The video, he noted, features graphic imagery of weapons and illegal substances, which some members of the public might find disturbing.
This particular artist has a song called Taliban, and many of you can pull it up on YouTube. And in that song, the only thing that you hear and see is AK-47s, automatic, semi-automatic weapons. It talks about the clip being tall, which means how long the magazine is on the gun. It speaks about murder. It speaks about revenge. And while displaying all of these weapons, the money and the drugs that are on the ground in this video is very disturbing. This is one of the main artists for emancipation.
He stressed that his great concern in this regard centers around recent incidents of gun violence in the territory and chastised the Virgin Islands Festival and Fairs Committee for seeking out a performer who, in his view, glorifies violence.
And the concern for me is that in the Virgin Islands, where you have an increase in gun violence, you have an increase in the acquiring of weapons by young people throughout the Virgin Islands. You're going to tell me that the organizers of this festival could not find someone better to represent emancipation other than someone that promotes violence and display guns, and not just regular guns. These are semi-automatic weapons, and promote murder and plant seeds in our young people's minds about this kind of behavior. Just 2 weeks ago, we had 2 persons who went into our business, one of our businesses on the Pier Park, for a robbery, using the same type of weapons, where the clip is tall, where the magazine is long. That's what it means. And I challenge you to go on YouTube and look at this video, and it will disgust you. I guarantee it will disgust you to see what is being promoted, and the artists that they are bringing to our island with our taxpayers' money to promote our emancipation that has nothing to do with what this artist represents. And when we see our young people behaving the way they do, and when they go out and get clips, and when they can't resolve conflict except for at the point of a gun, we wonder why. Because we are the ones bringing now the music and the artists to our doorstep to promote this kind of behavior.
Klein said that his decision to take a Facebook Live followed multiple attempts to discuss these concerns with the Virgin Islands Festival and Fairs Committee, to which there was no avail. He noted that while it is an artist's prerogative to decide how they would like to practice their craft, it is the duty of event organizers, in this case, he said, the Virgin Islands Festival and Fairs Committee, to engage performers who are best suited for the purpose and audience of their planned events. The BVI athletes who recently competed at the NCUK Under 14 and Under 15 championships in the Dominican Republic received an extremely warm welcome when they returned to the territory this week. Our Kamal Haynes has more on this report.
After experiencing several flight delays, the BVI delegation successfully returned through the Terence B. Lettsome International Airport on Wednesday. Gold medalist Othniel Gillings, Tyreek Charles, and Bryson Walters were praised for their outstanding performances, along with some of the other athletes that showed promise during the championships. Coach Erica Frederick spoke with the president of the BVI Athletics Association, Steve Augustine, on her assessment of the championships.
The meet was very excited. I'm feeling so proud of Team BVI that coming home with so many medals, first place positions, and what's not.
I know there was lots of athletes, lots of competition, but what was one of the races or experiences that you had while you were there with the kids that really stood out for you?
I really enjoy the distance races because those are the races that really determine your overall position throughout the competition, especially for the under 15 boys. Terry Charles really amazed me in his strong finish during that race.
All right, and for the younger athletes, other athletes outside of the group that we have here, what is it as a coach that you would like to tell them so that they can get to the level that these kids got to?
They need to be strong-hearted, put out their strong effort in everything they do, train really hard, and be successful in the end. Those that was part of the under 13 team this year, I want them to continue working hard because they have 2 more years to try and make it in the next meet, in the next 2 years that's coming up.
Manager of the team, Chantal Scatliff, described the meet as awesome and highlighted the performance of Tyreek Charles as one of the outstanding ones of the meet.
As Coach Frederick mentioned before, Tyreek Charles, his 1,000 meter, he ran a hell of a race. He did a hell of a finish. I was so impressed of his finish because before this race, he was complaining that he didn't want to do it, and for him to go out there and with such a strong finish, it was very impressive.
Coach Bert Dorset shared similar sentiments and spoke on the mindset of the athletes during the meet. He also provided advice on how other athletes can make similar national teams.
There was a little bit of in between. But,
And how did you overcome the little bit, the in-between that you're speaking about?
just speaking to them and keeping them on their calms.
Right.
And making them know that that is something that we've been doing. It's just that we are doing it now with more than what we are accustomed to.
And you've been there, you've witnessed what has happened. We have lots of athletes that are trying to do the very same thing. What are some of the words of advice that you would give those athletes who are trying to do the very same thing as in making the age group team?
Well, you just got to keep doing that. I think that's the best stepping stone as a coach. I think that's the best stepping stone for athletes that age.
As far as development?
As far as development is concerned, that's the best stepping stone.
And to the parents, you not only have athletes, but you have parents who are hoping that their children as well amass the ability to do what these kids did. What is it, or what are some of the things you would tell the parents in relation to the preparation of these kids in making meets like this?
Well, in making meets like this, we have to stress a lot on the kids' behavior, the general behavior.
Right.
Also present at the airport was Minister for Education, Culture, Youth Affairs and Sports, Honorable Shari De Castro. She spoke on the importance of showing athletes support and how it contributes to their development.
We just always have to show our support. I was out there when they were training leading up to being chosen to go, and I saw the dedication there, and to see them go out in Santo Domingo and really perform to the point of medaling, it speaks a lot to the development of athletics in the territory, and I want to congratulate PBAE and all the clubs and coaches for the tremendous work that we're now seeing.
In the under-15 boys category, Gillings and Charles secured the first place combined finish in the heptathlon team event, accumulating 9,478 points and outclassing their competition by 352 points. In addition to his team gold medal, Gillings, who is considered a seasoned multi-eventer, also secured an individual podium finish, placing second overall, accumulating 4,798 points. Charles secured a fifth place individual finish with 4,682 points. Prior to the achievements of Gillings and Charles, Walter secured the territory's first medal of the championships with a gold in the pentathlon event. Competing at the under-13 level, he amassed 3,080 points, while teammate Kirjani Prevost, who is new to the discipline, totaled 2,043 points and placed 29th overall. Reporting for 284 News, I am Kamal Haynes.
Viewers, up next, we have more local news. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Today, I am doing cobble treatments with Beyond the Reef. Today, we are doing shark research. So today, we are doing whale research with Beyond the Reef. And wherever I go, I take CCT with me because my life is unlimited.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, son.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut fun to people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power? Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top up or?
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Continue on the local scene. The H. Laverty Style Community College has entered a partnership with NCUK to better provide additional opportunities to its business students here in the Virgin Islands. Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Arlene Smith-Thompson, recently joined me to discuss the program.
So the NCUK is the Northern Consortium of UK universities. It's headquartered in Manchester, UK. And basically, it's a network that has brought together several universities from the United Kingdom, Canada, New Zealand, and even as far as Australia to create pathways for international students to study further for especially their bachelor's degrees. So the HLSCC, we were accredited with NCUK through a very rigorous process, I must say, to offer this training for a training pathway, I should say, for our students. And so it's a brand new program, but the NCUK has been around for 20 years. They have partnerships in 30 different countries with over 300 study centers. Wow. And the NCUK has actually helped about 40,000 students to gain degrees in accredited universities. So this pathway is very important for our students that may want to study in the UK, for example. Okay. And there are many benefits that can be gained by them studying through this network, and this is what I really want to talk to you about today.
Dr. Thompson highlighted the various pathways available and which would be utilized by HLSCC.
So NCUK offers 3 different study pathways. So there's an international year 1 that mostly targets students coming right out of high school, say like our Elmo South St. George's or Seventh-day Adventist School. Then there's an international year 1 where students get an opportunity to study in their home country for 1 year of a bachelor's degree before proceeding to a university of their choice within the network for the 2nd year. And then there's the international year 2. For our purposes, we thought it best to start with the international year 1 in business management because we do have a large percentage of our students, even coming out of HLSCC, that study business-related subjects. So we thought that's the most viable pathway for now. And so this is what I want to promote by coming here to talk to you a bit more today about how our students can access this really great study opportunity.
She spoke about access to the programs for HLSCC students.
We were hoping to start a cohort this fall, which would be August 28th, based on the numbers. Now, the cohorts, because we want to be able to individualize instruction and reach every student, we're going to start out very small, so maybe between 10 or 12 students. The instructors have all been approved by NCUK. We have to meet their study standards for our students, and they will have access to counselors and even the wider NCUK support network for training to make sure that all of their needs are met. So, so we are at this point where we're still targeting possible interests, students that may want to take up this study opportunity.
Additionally, Dr. Thompson shared the benefits of the program.
Yes. So for the international year 1 students, if you choose to study business management through NCUK, you pay $10,000 for the year. And just think about it, you get to study within the comfort of your own home country environment. So the classes are set up that most of them are offered in the mornings, At HLSCC, I think there's one Friday class that's scheduled between 1 and 3 p.m. But it's an excellent opportunity for students to study here at home for the first year. Of course, there's a savings in terms of accommodation, travel costs, and even the tuition itself. So, you know, if you compare it to if they actually went abroad, it could be a difference of a good maybe $6,000 to $7,000. So, and that's why we would like persons to take advantage of this great study opportunity. And I just want to add one other point. What happens sometimes, even if our students complete an associate's here and they go to the UK for a bachelor's degree, they would find themselves completing maybe even an additional year to get them ready for the actual program. Whereas if it was done here through the network, that would save them the additional year.
Speaking on the eligibility of students, Dr. Thompson shared who exactly is eligible to apply.
So for the International Year 1 in business, based on the students, I guess for the most part, the makeup of our students in the territory right now, we see two clear pathways. So for instance, students that graduate from the Cedar School International, because they follow a different pathway from our regular high school students, they prepare them for bachelor's degree study very early. So they would have a direct pathway into the NCUK network study program, as well as our students coming out of HLSCC with an associate degree, because of course their aim is to get a bachelor's. So then those are the two pathways. Students that have A levels, yes, they would also be considered, but a lot of our students within the territory, they don't do A level. So those are the two groups that we're targeting right now.
Wonderful. Now, viewers, this is an excellent study pathway opportunity to bachelor's degrees in business management. Scholarship opportunities and payment plans are also available. You are asked, if interested, to please contact the following persons at the H. Lively Stout Community College. They are Miss Dana Lewis Ambrose at dlewis, DLEWIS at HLSCC.edu.vg, or contact her at 852-7047, or Miss Shamoya Maduru at skmaduru, skmaduro at HLSCC.edu.vg, or she can also be contacted at 852-7038 for the full interview. Visit all 284 media platforms. Viewers, up next, we have more local news. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
So tonight, I am an international musician and also a bandman. Let's go behind the scenes. This is how I live my life. Unlimited with CCT.
Shake me awake. Bring me back to reality.
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you so much for sticking with us. On to the final leg of our newscast. Our team recently paid a visit to the H. Lively Stout Community College Marine Campus, where the Kids and the Sea BVI Rowing Camp is presently underway. There, we spoke with members of the CATS team directly involved with shaping the campers' experience. Take a look.
Julie Schneider, and I'm the program director for Kids in the Sea this summer. This morning is our second day and it is our first day on the water. So yesterday they got split into different teams and they learned their knots and they learned the basics of rowing. So they learned the parts of the boat, rowing commands, and crew positions. So they have to do some of the technical work before they can get on the boat and do the fun work. We're going to take all of the practice of the knots and we're going to put them on the boat and see if they can hook up their oar locks and get off the dock and see how they do rowing. We also have 2 teams up in the classroom and they are learning the practical side of the rowing commands, and then we will switch. So everyone will get a chance to be on the water this morning. We always on Monday morning, the first day, have some kids that are like half asleep and they kind of don't want to be here. They may have been told this is what you're going to do this week. By the time they leave, they're doing their knots, they're having fun. They're like, bye, we'll see you tomorrow. I've already had one parent ask, how many weeks is this camp? And unfortunately, it's just 1 week. Make sure that you have your life jacket on at all times and be careful with your flip-flops and just have fun and cheer the kids on as they are out on the water.
So on the rowboats, we have 7 positions. We have coxswain, we have a helmsman, we have 4 pulling hands, and then we have a boatswain. So the coxswain is the one that gives all the commands. We have like about 7 commands that we use to help it. So an example of a command would be starboard sideways, one hand pull, and that will carry the boat to the starboard position. So it's going to use like a pivoted method, and then it's going to direct the boat. The helmsman is in charge of security. That's a command that I use. There's a young lady there on the boat. She's a navigator. So what she says, to help direct the coxswain, whatever object or map or anything is in front, how far it is, how wide you have to go to approach it, you know, just they have to be very communicative so the coxswain can know where they're going. It was nice getting to know the rest instructors. We have a great chemistry, communicate very well. And even last year we had an instructor versus volunteers last year, and we cleaned them. And this was one of our students last year, and they're more mature now, so we carry them on the boat. They're captains in training, so they basically just actually whenever we need any help, they step in. And they're closer to the new students' age, so they have someone to relate to. It's basically a representation of what cats can.
The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States has released a statement titled Post-COI Crisis Situation of the British Virgin Islands, in which the organization spoke of its support for the territory in this unprecedented time. Recognizing the long-standing historical, cultural, legal, economic, political, and familial bonds shared with the British Virgin Islands in the Eastern Caribbean, the OECS congratulated the people and the government of the Virgin Islands on their peaceful, free, and fair general elections held on April 24th. Now, the organization also welcomed the reappointment of Dr. the Honorable Nathaniel D. Wheatley as Premier of the British Virgin Islands and commended his administration's continued dedication to implementing governance reforms that serve the best interest of the BVI community. Hailing the British Virgin Islands democratically elected arm of government for engaging in public consultations on the proposed reforms, the OECS applauded the government's commitment to actively involve the people of the society in decision-making processes. Additionally, the OECS acknowledged the government of the BVI and its progress in implementing the framework for the implementation of the COI report, recommendations, and other reforms, which they say demonstrates the dedication to constructive change and accountability. However, the statement did not shy away from addressing concerns regarding the United Kingdom's involvement. The OECS insists that the UK remove its order in council which grants the power to impose direct rule over the British Virgin Islands and at its discretion. It urged the UK and the governor not to bypass the duly elected arm of government and impose legislative and policy changes democratically. Encouraging cooperation and support, the OECS called upon the United Kingdom to provide any requested technical assistance to the government of the British Virgin Islands in its pursuit of governance reform. Reaffirming, of course, its commitment to decolonization, the OECS emphasized that colonialism has no place in modern democracy and government in the Caribbean. It called for the recognition and respect of the British Virgin Islands and its self-right to determination, and of course in the UN Charter, and reaffirmed by the UN Declaration of the granting of independence to colonial countries and peoples. Now, viewers, the OECS said it firmly upholds the principle of self-governance and advocates for a clear and responsible path for the people of the British Virgin Islands to achieve a full measure of self-governance in accordance with the UN-sanctioned options available to non-self-governing territories under international law. Viewers, that is it for today's news roundup. I want to thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to follow us for updates at 284media.com, and of course like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Ron Grant. Do have a safe and enjoyable weekend. I will see you on Monday. Happy Friday. Goodbye.